Hello again. Diverse World Run. Another small improvement. This run was beaten in 13 minutes and 1 second. And I don't really know what to talk about, so I guess I'll talk about my life. I've been like seriously getting the speedrunning itch. I want to play Sunshine, but I want to do 120 shines. I think it'd be fun, and any percent and SMS is like kind of bad. But before I do that though, I need a job, and I've been applying to a bunch of like environmental field technician jobs. So hopefully I'll get some interviews soon. But that's not what this video is about. We got a speedrun, and here it goes. So round one, and I'm placed directly in front of a blue distance sign. This is characteristic of Turkey. It says I'm 28 kilometers from Cihanbeyli and 190 from the capital of Ankara. So my first thought is to turn around and see if there's a distance sign in the other direction. I checked the gas station, and then I noticed that there was actually a second blue sign in the background of the first one. And this one tells me that I'm on the D17, and I can turn for like a village type place called Huyukuyu. So I see him going northeast on the road towards Ankara, and I've never heard of John Bailey, so I'm looking for that and also for the D715. You might have seen it when I zoomed in, but the cursor was right by John Bailey. But after looking over to the highways to the east there, I do find it, and I zoom in. And I kind of zoom in around in this area because I remember it was like only around 30 to John Bailey, but 190 to Ankara, so it's going to be pretty close. So I just kind of zoom in on this random intersection right here without a place name when it was zoomed out, and I saw Hoyukuyu Jami, which Jami is the Turkish word for mosque, as it turns out. I didn't know that or anything. So I figured we were at that big intersection, but I went back to the start. Anyways, just to confirm, and I see that the road to the left kind of bends upwards, so I put the marker down and I get the 5,000. This looks like Western European, and really my first goal is to try to pin down the right country. There was a bunch of clues that I could have used, but when I zoom in on that for sale sign, it says .co.uk, so there we are. I go down the road and I see a pub. It's called Wheelwright Arms, so I remember that for later. And then farther down the road is a sign for a political candidate, and when I zoom in, it says Brecon and Radnorshire. I know those are not English counties, and my first guess is Wales. You might have seen it underneath the picture, but his party, it said Welsh Conservative, so this is definitely Wales. I go down the road. That was just a speed limit reduction sign that I turned around for, so I keep on going. I don't like being behind lorries, as they're called in England, but sometimes you have to be behind one. There's a brown sign. It says Irwood Station, Craft Center, and Gallery. And then I see an intersection I'm coming. There's a white sign to indicate what towns are nearby. But then on the left edge, it's a green sign. And those are useful because those are more like cities and bigger towns. So it says I'm on the A470 between Builth and then Brecon and Abergavenny. So when I go to Wales, I just look kind of in the middle and I immediately see Builth and Brecon. I know the road is pointing northwest, so I'm probably on this like northern half of the A470. And when I zoom in, I find Irwood right there. And I'm looking for the pub, and it was there on the screen in the top left, but I didn't see it. So I start going south down the road, and there's a bunch of inns and stuff. There's another little village, but I don't see the pub. And once I get to where the A470 like switches from going northwest to northeast, I go north of Irwood and look there, and I start going south, and then right there I see the station gallery, and then I find the pub. And I could have found that a lot quicker, but I didn't search thoroughly enough in Irwood. I go back to the start, and I kind of figure I'm over the like creek thing, but I don't know for certain. So I go down the road to see how close I am to the pub, and it turns out I'm like relatively close. There's the pub in the background. I just passed it. So I put the marker on the creek and I get the 5,000. This one looks like I'm at an intersection. I see the back of a sign that might tell me what it's for, and it does, and it says it's 21 kilometers to El Niwil using the 180. So my first thought is actually Uruguay, but it could also be Argentina. There's another green sign at the intersection, but it just says Route 180 and the dude who it's named after. So I keep on going down the road southwest, and once I sort of pass the intersection, it's kind of like a curvy triangle thing. I end up finding a green distance sign. This tells me I'm in Argentina, actually, both based on the names and how many places are on it. Because in Argentina, it's always like three for whatever reason. So it says 86 to El Sosneado, 136 to Los Muelles, and 137 to Malargüe. So I started looking on the map for those. I checked the south first because Malargüe kind of looked like it would fit in that area. I feel like you kind of see the U with the dots above it, kind of in like Andes territory area. Um, Eventually I get up to Mendoza, and you can see it right now briefly on the left on the screen, but I didn't notice it. So I'm basically just going all the way up to the northwest corner, and then I'm going to go down or to the east along the northern border, and I get all the way to Buenos Aires. And once I reach the capital, I'm like, okay, I need to rethink because there's Bahia Blanca. I basically scanned every part of Argentina. So I turn around, and my thought is maybe there's another one of these signs in the other direction. So I go back to the start just to get there a little quicker. And now I'm going north, and it turns out, yes, there is. And this one's a lot more helpful because it has the road number, the 144, and it has San Rafael, 52 to San Rafael, which is a place that I recognize. I don't know where exactly it is, so I looked there first, but that's Santa Fe, San Nicolas, and then eventually there's San Rafael, and the 144 is right there. So I zoom in, and I see El Niwil immediately, and I see the 180. I go back to the start, I confirm that we're basically in the middle of the intersection of that triangle, so I zoom in and get the marker closer, and it's good enough. Round number 4 looks like it could be South America or Mexico, and I start over a dried up river. I decide to go to the west as it kind of looked more open air, and I like to go where I can see more things rather than where it's closed off. And I stumble upon a green sign, and it says I'm on the 141 going towards San Juan, and I can turn onto the 510 for Valle Fertil. This is super close to the previous round, and having that knowledge was essential to getting this one quickly. I checked the sign behind me, but I feel confident enough to go in because I mean 141 and 144 right next to each other or in the same area. So I'm around San Rafael and Mendoza, and then I go to the north and I see San Juan and I see the 141. Eventually, upon zooming in, I find the 510, and I go back to the start. This is where I remembered that I was over that dried up river. So I'm zooming in, and it's not that huge lake or river thing. That river right there doesn't go all the way to the road, but then this one does, and I'm just going to check the compass to kind of confirm. I'm going west, and there's bends surrounding me. So I zoom in just to make sure I'm close enough, and I am, and I put the marker down. In round number 5, it's a tiny road in tall tree land. So for those keeping track, this is the second consecutive PB with good rounds up until round 5. I don't really care about finding out what country I'm in immediately. I just passed an intersection right there, and it looked like it had like some signs on it. So I just wanted to see what it said, what I could find out. It says Rohu Bas, 6 kilometers, and I don't immediately know what language that could be. But again, I don't really care. My goal is I just need to find a main road. And it doesn't take too much longer, actually, going down this little road. I think you can see it up ahead. Not quite yet. No, because what happens is the trees back away in just a second, but I'm not at the road. The trees are a lot shorter here. I might skip ahead, actually. Just going to skip ahead a little bit until... Actually, hang on. I have to do this. Until I get to the main road. There, all the trees go away, and now it's a lot closer. So much for skipping ahead. Because here we are. It's a main road. And once I get on there, I see a blue direction sign for Vinny and Veka Maria, and once again, it's Estonia. I don't know where either of these places are. Sorry. So I look to see if I can find where I came from using one of the signs on the main road. And not only does it give me that, a place name, but it also tells me the road number that I'm on and the one that I'm intersecting with. So it says 4 kilometers to Kalenga using the 132, and it says that I'm currently on the 207. I feel at this point like I have enough information to at least start a search. So I pull the names up, Vinny and Vekamaria, and I go in. But when I get there, at first I see these yellow highways that are 2 digits, and I'm like, wait, is this right? Am I in the right country? Surely it's Estonia. But then I zoom in and I see the triple digit, like low 100s, and uh, it confirms that I'm in Estonia. So I'm going back here because I forgot the road numbers that I needed to remember. And there's a problem with like the Baltic states and Finland where signs can be blurry at basically like every angle and you can't actually read them. So I pull up the sign, it says the 132, and I if I remember right, I think I remembered the other one was the 207, but I was just looking for the 132. But before I looked for the highway numbers, I actually um, scan the whole country and look for the place names. I'm looking for Vinny and Veka Maria, but I look on the island because I want to rule out. I generally want to rule out any sort of like fringe areas in a country before I spend a whole bunch of time looking at like the mainland. So I am gonna like skip ahead a little bit because I don't find Veka Maria or Vinny on the map. And so at this stage, I start zooming in and looking for the right road number. I'm looking for the 132 or the 207, and it takes a long while of kind of searching. So I'm going to skip ahead again to find it. One of the issues with the way these road numbers are laid out is that they're not perfectly like geographically organized. Like I think some of the mid like the 200s are grouped together and the 100s can be grouped together, but there wasn't really I guess like second digit cohesion. But there um I was honestly about to give up, but I zoom in and I see this tiny little sliver of road that was the 132 just south of Tartu. But it's too short and it doesn't have the other place names. So I can't really follow and track where it actually goes and like what concurrencies there are. So my plan is just to zoom out and at this just around this area look for Veka Maria. And there it is, I find it. I go back to the sign to see which direction I had to go and it's south to Veka Maria. So that's where I look. And then I find Kulenga right there. That's not the right road number though. So I look for Vinny too, and I don't find it because Vinny couldn't might not necessarily be straight north. It might be like off to the side. But when I zoom in, I find the 207, and that's the road that I'm on. So I zoom in here, realize this is the interchange that I'm at, where my cursor is. I go to that sign just to confirm 207 is the right number. I don't see 132 or anything, but I see that I came from the east, Kalenga's to the west. I put the cursor there, and I go back to the start. So at the start, the road is pointing basically east-west, and there's intersections to the north and the south. So where my cursor is right there, that's not right. I zoom in on this one, it's like this sort of double intersection, but the road's pointing northwest, not due west. So I know that's not right. I gamble here, I put the cursor down, and because the road had a name, I was like, maybe this is right, but I'm running out of time. And bear in mind, I don't have these splits when I'm playing. It's just something I do in post. So I kind of gambled there, and I didn't know if it was quicker or not, but it ended up being quicker. Um, so yeah, 1301. Just to recap, the rounds were in Turkey, Wales, two in a row in like northwestern Argentina, and then Estonia. So yeah, the fastest rounds were in Turkey, um, and then the fourth round, which was the second one in a row in Argentina, that was I would say that was lucky getting two in a row in basically the same region. That made it like really quickly made the second one a lot quicker because if I just had only one of them, like it was more like the 2 minute 30 time rather than the 1 minute 30, 1 minute 15 even. So I'm gonna do another Austin video soon, so look out for that. And I don't really have much outro. I'm just trying to get my diverse world time a lot faster because as you can see, it's like I get 4 good rounds and then one slow one. So it's just if I can get 5, then my time will drop like really significantly. But yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching.